Breaking news this hour on the Big Money Show. Wall Street rattled by fears that China has caught up to America on artificial intelligence. NVIDIA leading the sell-off, down about 15%, tanking on the news that DeepSeek has an AI model similar to ChatGPT, but operating at a fraction of the cost. They say it was built in 2 months for less than $6 million. It's now the #1 app on the App Store. And some breaking news just in on this story. DeepSeek says it was hit with a large-scale cyber attack.
All right, today we're going to be talking about the elephant in the room, DeepSeek. I'm sure you've heard of it. It's been all over the news lately. I think I had 3 clients ask me about it just today on different calls. So we're going to be discussing DeepSeek's AI breakthrough, market impact, and subsequent cybersecurity concerns. Let's take each item point by point. Number 1, technological and cost innovation. DeepSeek achieved comparable or superior performance to leading U.S. models while spending only $5.6 million compared to competitors' billions, like OpenAI. The company demonstrated exceptional efficiency using lower-end H800 GPUs instead of the more powerful H100s from NVIDIA, turning U.S. restrictions into an innovation catalyst. Their technical innovations include sophisticated use, a mixture of expert architecture, floating point 8 training, and clever solutions to numerical stability challenges. The dramatic cost reduction of all this engineering for inference, 10 cents per million tokens versus 440, represents a potential paradigm shift in AI accessibility for the masses. Number 2, market investment and impact. The announcement caused significant market disruption in the NASDAQ and the Dow, with NVIDIA stocks falling as much as 17.8% at one point. Wall Street's reaction reflects concerns about the sustainability of massive AI infrastructure investments and the development challenges and assumptions about necessary capital expenditure in AI development, that it's not as expensive as everybody thought it was necessarily. Traditional AI companies must now justify their higher costs as more efficient competitors emerge. The situation particularly affects companies focused solely on model development versus those with diverse revenue streams. Number 3, the big one, part of my namesake, security and privacy concerns. DeepSeek reported experiencing a large-scale cyber attack, I say that in quotes, air quotes, that caused service disruptions. Significant concerns exist about data collection and storage on servers in China. This is like TikTok 2.0. So every time that people type into it, it's sending the tokens overseas to China. They're going to be gathering that information and obviously querying it themselves. Questions arise about data access under Chinese law, requiring companies to share information with the government. And almost every institution over there is government-led, owned, or run at some point. The privacy profile, or the privacy policy rather, indicates collection of user profile information, uploaded content, files, and chat history. Experts draw parallels to TikTok's data collection, me being one of them, concerns and broader implications for user privacy. Number 4, US-China AI competition dynamics. The breakthrough has dramatically altered perceptions of China's AI capabilities. Not so much for me because I'm a member of the IEEE, the engineering organization, and almost everything published on language models and other things comes from Chinese scientists and developers. And many of them, like I was saying before, have multiple PhDs. They are really good at engineering. DeepSeek's success, it challenges the effectiveness of U.S. semiconductor export controls. Former Google CEO Eric Schmidt revised his assessment of the U.S.-China AI gap from years to months. The situation highlights the emergence of only 2 major players in large-scale AI development, the U.S. and China. Political approaches differ between administrations regarding how to maintain U.S. technological leadership. Number 5, open source versus closed source strategy. DeepSeek's open source approach, available to all, presents a significant challenge to closed source business models. The model allows developers to customize and build upon existing technology. And there's growing recognition that collaboration through open source development might drive innovation more efficiently. If it's open to everybody, everybody can participate and expand the technology. But concerns exist about potential future changes to licensing terms and Chinese government influence. Same story with TikTok again. The situation raises questions about the sustainability of high-cost, closed-source AI development. A lot of the venture capitalists and others and people who are investing in the stock market heavily in NVIDIA and these other AI companies obviously got nervous about the whole thing. Number 6, cultural and political implications. Chinese models must adhere to state-mandated rules and embody socialist values. Concerns about censorship and content control in Chinese AI models, and then questions about the influence of Chinese government priorities on AI and AI development. The development represents a choice between democratic AI with Western values versus alternatives, and the implications for global technological infrastructure and leadership. It's definitely a tug of war going on here. Number 7, consumer adoption and market penetration. DeepSeek became the number one free app on Apple's US App Store, surpassing ChatGPT. The rapid adoption rate surprised industry observers and demonstrated strong user interest. Following security concerns, the app restricted new registrations to Chinese phone numbers. The consumer response indicates potential market readiness for alternative AI solutions and shows that everybody's hungry for something different than the usual. The situation raises questions about balancing accessibility with security concerns. So it's open source and based in China, the information's going there and back and forth. Should Americans have access to it? These themes collectively illustrate the complex interplay between technological innovation, market dynamics, national security, and international competition in the rapidly evolving AI landscape. There are a lot of things to unpack here, and I'm going to have some fun with DeepSeek in a second, so you can watch me do that. But I've had people asking me all day in different meetings, what do I think about DeepSeek? What is my take on it? I think that there are a couple of key areas. One is the fact that it is open source, that it's free or freely available, and that it is competitive against the closed source models now that are particularly owned and run by OpenAI. And that raises a lot of questions about what is the value of the models that everyone has been paying for up to this point. If we can get it for free, then why wouldn't we? And this has been some of the strategy that Meta used with their Llama language models. And Mark Zuckerberg kind of realized, hey, we can't beat these other large cloud entities like the Amazons or the Microsofts. And Microsoft did partner with OpenAI extensively. And he realized, okay, let me take an open source model, the Llama models, and license them and then distribute them and get people to develop on those and start using them. And the Chinese really took that same tact. The other part has to do with, I think, what's being driven by the market, and in part scare tactics, probably by those in Wall Street who wanted the NVIDIA stock and the others to tank, the hedge fund managers, the people that were betting against them, and were looking for excuse or just waiting for NVIDIA to trip up. And I remember reading, I think it was the Wall Street Journal and other places about that being the case, and that there were people hedging their bets and almost wanting the bubble to burst so that they could do short selling on some of those stocks. And that's essentially what happened. So there's the technical element of how good is the model itself. It definitely competes against like GPT-4, some of the other ones. And some people are saying even o1, maybe the o3 kind of thinking model. There's a deep think version. I'm looking at it right now of DeepSeek. And we're going to play around with it in a second. I've got it up in a browser window on a VM that I have running at home. Do I think it's really going to replace the existing models and things like that? Not really. I think primarily because it's owned and run by the Chinese, and it demonstrates the war I've also been pointing out over chips and chipsets in Taiwan. And that's really what the tug of war is over Taiwan, because we're not manufacturing the chips here. Mainland China All right, let's take a look at DeepSeek. I played a little trick on DeepSeek. DeepSeek came under attack, and what I did was I took notes on a bunch of YouTube videos and news articles and other things about the attack on DeepSeek. And so I'm going to play a little bit of a dirty trick on it and ask it why it thinks it was attacked. And we'll see what it says. Let's try this. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. There we go. That's better. Hey, DeepSeek. Based on the attached document, why do you think you were cyber attacked? Let's see if it answers. I have no idea what's going to happen. This is going to be funny. It says, okay, I need to figure out why DeepSeek was cyber attacked based on the provided document. Let me start by reading through the content carefully. The document mentions that DeepSeek is a Chinese AI startup that has developed a low-cost AI model challenging established players like OpenAI. Their model R1 became very popular quickly, topping the App Store charts in the US, which caused a significant drop in stock prices for companies like NVIDIA. The cyber attack led to outages and disabled new user signups. Possible reasons for the attack could be, this is going to be good. 1, competitive threat. DeepSeek's success disrupts the market, especially affecting companies relying on expensive hardware like NVIDIA. Competitors or stakeholders in the existing AI ecosystem might feel threatened and target them. Oh, so it's blaming other companies. Interesting. 2, data and security concerns. The document highlights concerns about data privacy, mentioning that DeepSeek's data is stored in China. This could raise fears about data being accessed by the Chinese government, making them a target for attacks aimed at exposing or stealing sensitive information. 3, this is so interesting. Geopolitical tension. The U.S.-China tech rivalry is evident here. DeepSeek's rise challenges U.S. dominance in AI, and the attack might be motivated by geopolitical interest to undermine a Chinese competitor. 4, open source vulnerabilities. DeepSeek's model being open source might expose it to more vulnerabilities as attackers can analyze the code for weaknesses. It's a good point. 5, infrastructure strain. The sudden surge in users might have overwhelmed their systems, making them an easier target for attacks. However, the document suggests it was a deliberate cyber attack rather than just a traffic surge. The document also mentions that DeepSeek, and the document was taken mostly from US media. I don't speak Chinese, unfortunately. Investors are worried about the lower costs disrupting the market, which might create financial motives for attacks. Additionally, there are references to potential data collection and transfers to China. In summary, the attack likely stems from a combination of competitive pressure, geopolitical tension, data security concerns, the disruptive nature of DeepSeek's technology in the AI industry. It's so interesting that it's kind of touting itself. Based on the document, the cyber attack likely occurred due to combined factors, which I read: market disruption, geopolitical tension, data privacy, security vulnerabilities, open source risks. The open source nature of its model could expose vulnerabilities, allowing attackers to probe and exploit weaknesses more easily. In essence, the attack was likely driven by DeepSeek's disruptive innovation, geopolitical implications, and concerns over data security. So let me ask, what can DeepSeek do to protect itself in the future from such attacks? That'd be a good question for you. Okay. And notice I'm using the DeepThink. I've selected the DeepThink, so it's going to think about the answer for a second. Notice I'm not really running anything competitive against GPT. I'm just curious about what this is going to say. As a fun exercise. No idea. I did not run any of this before filming, and probably didn't think of it. So if somebody knocks at my door and the Chinese come looking for me, then you know what's up. All right, it's still thinking. It must be coming up with a good answer. It's really deep thinking about this. Server is busy. Please try again later. Okay. I'm gonna regenerate. I'm gonna give it one more shot and we'll see what it says. kind of surprised actually that it answered me the first time, to be honest. Okay, well, while it's thinking, I think to sum up my thoughts and my thoughts earlier about DeepSeek is that it's a tool like any other. It's a language model on the back end, but language models, they call them GPTs, generative pre-trained, and it says it's busy again. So that the transformers over there are trained ahead of time, but we don't know really what data that DeepSeek was trained on, and that's going to color its answers. So obviously the more things it's exposed to, maybe it was trained on entirely on Chinese literature or such thing, we don't really know. But we'll see going forward what's going to happen with it. It's going to be a fun, interesting ride. AI is becoming more international, it's getting out in the wild, and it's impacting all of us day to day. But at any rate, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's late for me. I'm going to go to bed and get up and do this again tomorrow. So best of luck to you, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.